Well. And hello everyone, welcome to another Let's Play of my Post-ARR progression. Not part 17, I just noticed that, let me update. Yeah, part 18. There we go, right number. So with that, today I will be streaming and progressing through the Binding Coils of Bahamut. You might recall from the end of base ARR there was that deafening roar in the distance, and we all looked at the orange glowing corrupted ether crystals. This is what this questline is supposed to be resolving, so without further ado, let us begin. If you like at any point what you see, please give me a follow on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description. Will be in the description. And please like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And let me know if you're liking this, or if you can't hear me, or if there's something wrong with the visual quality. Just let me know how I can improve. Without further ado, let us begin. Primal Awakening. Urianger would speak with you regarding the unidentified primal. When the Senary moon did wane, there sounded a blood-curdling roar. A new primal had roused. The portents gave us to believe, one whose identity yet lieth beyond our ken. By thy hand, 3 primals have since been vanquished. As each returned to the ether, 'twas observed that tremors foreshadowing this 4th grew in strength and frequency both. The being doth quicken, and in time it shall become a scourge upon the land. Yet even as we pondered a course of action, a benevolent soul did arise, one who would forestall this threat. Though she be tender in years, she is true of heart and steadfast of resolve. She would solicit thine aid if thou art willing to proffer it. Lest thou wonder, this maiden is of our order. Thus did the antecedent straightways consent that thou shouldst assist her howsoever thou mayest. As soon as thou art able, hie thee to Wineport, where thy petitioner doth await thee even now. Thou shalt for a certainty find her visage strikingly familiar. Okay, so we gotta go to Wineport. Hey, Javier, welcome to the stream, and thank you for following. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Alize. It has been a while, adventurer. As I recall, my brother Alphino took the liberty of introducing us when last we met. Yep. But for the sake of propriety, Alize Leveilleur, I thank you for coming. I have heard much and more of your exploits. By your hand, the Black Wolf is slain, and his ultimate weapon destroyed. You are possessed of great strength and courage, that much is plain. I shall have need of one such as you if I am to see my mission through to its conclusion. As you may be aware, the violence of Dalamud's fall changed not only the face of the realm, but also the base of the realm. Specifically, it played havoc with the etheric currents, creating vast confluences of ether below the surface, among other phenomena. This led to the formation of subterranean caverns at key points of stress. One such cavern lies beyond Castrum Occidens and extends to only the gods know where. Despite appearances, Castrum Occidens is as much a research facility as it is a fortress. Gaius van Belzer chose the site for no other reason than to probe the caverns without interference. As you went about vanquishing the returned primals, I observed a repeating wave pattern in the ether, corresponding exactly to the dates on which you were reported to have felled Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda. Upon closer examination, it became clear that these unique waveforms emanated from deep beneath the aforementioned stronghold. Crucially, it recorded the same pattern during the recent celebrations and have since been given to understand that this phenomenon bears a disquieting similarity to one observed shortly prior to the calamity. 5 years ago, my grandfather invoked the power of the 12 that he might contain Bahamut. Alas, his efforts failed, and he vanquished together with his foe. I would know the truth of what transpired that day, of grandfather's fate, and of the metamorphosis that swept across the land. In casting light upon these mysteries, we will find a way to cure what ails this world. It is my belief that the answers I seek lie hid within the depths of the cavern. I would have you accompany me on an expedition to find them, Myrokos. If truth be told, I am not wont to rely upon others, and have thus far handled matters alone, yet I am not blind to my limitations. Unescorted, I cannot hope to succeed in this endeavor. I swore that I would find a way to restore peace to Eorzea. If you desire the selfsame aid, then aid as you aided my brother and the Scions. I am in your debt. You are a man of action, and I sense that we will accomplish much together. But let us not waste any more time. As I mentioned, Castrum Occidens straddles the cavern which I wish to explore. If I am to have hope of reaching it alive, I will need you to infiltrate the stronghold and locate a path into the depths. Once you have done so, pray report your success to Storm Private Jabroka. You may consider her my assistant here in Wineport. I have every faith that you will not fail me. 12 speed your way, Myrokos. Okay. So let's go in. Okay, so just explore that. Now to turn in. I've been expecting you, Myrokos. By your coming, I take it you have successfully located the cavern entrance inside Castrum Occidens. So that's where it's to be found. Marvelous! Oh, but allow me to properly introduce myself. Myrokos is my name, and it is my honor to serve Lady Alize. Though for reasons of convenience, at present I also serve the Maelstrom. This uniform accords me certain privileges, you see, in particular ready access to the Maelstrom's regional scouting reports. They provide a wealth of local knowledge, including information on secret passages. But enough about me. I shall notify Lady Alize of your discovery, that she may prepare for the expedition. Though I don't doubt your abilities, none can say what dangers lurk beneath Castrum Occidens. For my lady's sake, as well as your own, please spare neither preparation nor caution. Pray choose your companions well. And with that, we are ready. The scars left by the calamity. I can scarce breathe for the surfeit of ether. Tell me, have you ever seen corrupted crystals such as these? Such crystals manifested across the realm when the course of the great river of ether was irrevocably altered 5 years ago. Behold one of the objects that caused that alteration, a fragment of the lesser moon Dalamud. Ancient Allag created Dalamud, or meteor to use the Garlean name, to serve as a celestial prison for Bahamut. Its fall inflicted grievous wounds upon the land, wounds that have yet to heal, as is evident from the corrupted crystals. Amazing! Dalamud's internal defenses still function in spite of everything, a testament to the ingenuity of the Allagans. The Garleans seek to appropriate their advanced technology, I am certain of it. We are about to come face to face with secrets that have long lain buried, within the sands of time. Great dangers may lie beyond, but we have come too far to turn back. The truth of the calamity is within reach. Gods preserve. Dark wings that would engulf the very heavens. These could only belong to Bahamut, the primal who laid Eorzea to waste 5 years ago. At Cartano, my grandfather sought to imprison Bahamut anew by invoking the power of the 12. Alas, the Dreadworm proved too powerful, and he soon broke free of his confines. Yet instead of resuming the destruction he had begun, Bahamut vanished. Whither to, no one knew, until this day. But I do not understand. If Bahamut is truly a primal, how is it that he retains his physical form? Did Grandfather defeat him? Or is there some other explanation? We must press on if we are to learn the truth. Who was that? very small detour. This is going rather more smoothly than I expected. It is indeed convenient to have a hero on hand. Gods, that cavern should open up, that the cavern should open up again, even at this depth. Ha, this resembles a finger. And so it should. This is Bahamut's hand. As with the wings, it seems to be frozen, and for that I count my blessings. But again, I find myself wondering, how is it able to retain physical form? I had assumed that Bahamut's reversion to ether was the cause of the widespread changes to the realm, but if he is still here, then that theory no longer holds. What was it, then, that brought about the realm's sudden regeneration? There is still so much we do not know about Cartano. I haven't the slightest inkling how deep these caverns run, but we must continue. Okay, so now I am in a room with a silent terminal. This contraption, is it used to control the saturation of ether? I suppose there is only one way to find out. The dragon you vanquished earlier, doubtless you noticed the peculiar contraption about its neck. It was likely a receptor of some description, used to enslave the creature. Ancient Allag possessed the means to control dragons, it would seem. The Ishgardians would kill for this knowledge, though to be sure, it could as easily be brought to bear against them. An army of dragons could turn the tide of any battle, as the Garleans once learned to their sorrow. I would not be the least bit surprised if they now sought to exploit this power. Whatever their plans, this serves as another reminder of the might of the Elegans. One cannot help but wonder how so advanced a civilization came to fall. Gods be good. This is Bahamut's head. And that enormous crystal, it pulsates with pulsates as if it were a heart. Then the primal that had awakened was Bahamut all this time. No, 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 no! This cannot be true. This would mean that grandfather died for naught. Confound it. We do not know enough to strike at it now. We must withdraw. Who is that? No, it can't be. Grandfather, is it truly you? No, don't leave me again, please. Grandfather. I know. We can do no more for now. But this looks like... How did we come to be in northern Thanalan, of all places? Oh, but such details matter little. Grandfather's alive, Myrokos. Bahamut did not defeat him. But why won't he return to us? I don't understand. This expedition has yielded more questions than it did answers. At any rate, we would both be better for a rest. Let us return to the waking sands and reflect upon what we have seen. Thank you, Myrokos. Without you, none of this would have been possible. I am pleased to see you again, Myrokos. I have already shared the fruits of our expedition with Urianger. Let us together ponder their implications. Alize's pledge. Urianger would speak with you regarding your experience inside the binding coil. Full glad am I for thy safe return. Lady Alize hath apprised me of thy many experiences. As thou wilt doubtless be aware, Master Louisoix was my lady's grandsire. Gravely concerned was I for her safety, but 'twould seem I need not have been so. With all my heart I do thank thee for watching over her. But come, thou must speak with Mistress Alize upon that which transpired within the binding coil. May it serve to bring us closer to the truth of the calamity. Shall we begin then? Urianger, I understand you have a report of your own to share with us. Aye, my lady. Even as thou didst emerge from the depth, an etheric disturbance betokening primal activity was observed. In Mordona was it marked first by comparison of time and magnitude. We have since deduced its origin, the Cartana Flats. Strange. There have been no reports of primal activity in that region. It could only have been Bahamut. That would certainly explain how we came to be in northern Thanalan. Somehow the cavern took us all the way from Vilbrand to the heart of Aldenard. 'Twould seem so, my lady. It is all but certain, then. After Bahamut disappeared 5 years ago, he hid himself deep beneath Cartano and has since lain dormant, regenerating. Aye, my lady. Taken together with thine own account of Bahamut's continued presence, the land's slowness to heal, and the disorder of the etheric currents do point to one conclusion. Bahamut stirreth. If left unchecked, the primal shall drink of Eorzea's life force, till he doth waken to rain ruin upon the land. Rest assured, I do not mean to give up Myrokos. Bahamut may still live, but so too does grandfather. For the past 5 years, he has been keeping vigil over his nemesis, making certain that the primal does not escape. Master Louisoix doth yet live? I durst not hope. And thou art certain 'twas no mere manifestation of thine all too sorely felt grief? I know how desperate this may sound, Urianger, but I saw him with mine own two eyes, as did Myrokos. But he vanished deeper into the labyrinth before we had the chance to speak. 2 more, like fragments of Dalamud, pierced the earth when the lesser moon fell. 1 we have seen. If we can but find the other 2, I am certain that we will find grandfather as well. If thou so believest, my lady, then I too shall have faith. If it please you, I shall notify the grand companies of this development. All Eorzea must stand united if we are to avert a repeat of the calamity. That will not be necessary, Urianger. Being the great conciliator that he is, Alfino will seek to unite Eorzea of his own accord. If rumors are true, that endeavor is already underway. So let us leave the diplomacy to the diplomat, while we continue our investigation of Bahamut. I swear to you, no matter what it takes, we will find my grandfather and uncover the whole truth of the calamity. Myrokos, you have heard me swear to do these things, but without your strength I cannot hope to make good on my word. The danger to Eorzea is not past. For the sake of all who abide here, I pray that you will ever be our sword in the darkness. Well, stave in my case, or staff in my case, but no. Yeah, no worries. Eliza's pledge complete. Primal nature. Urianger beseeches your aid solving the resurgent mystery of primals. Where is this? Let's see. Another turn in the coil. Okay, yeah, here it is. Another turn in the coil. Urianger would have you delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding the elder primal Bahamut. A crystal-choked abyss lieth beyond the Cartano Flats, the unholy cradle of an elder primal, and by thy hand were truths great and terrible wrested from those once celestial depths. Yet, as is oft the case, an answer doth breed a profusion of questions, and the unknown doth beckon with irresistible allure. Ne'er have the mysteries of the Red Moon lain so neatly within our grasp. Lady Alisaie hath sent word of her coming. 'Tis time once more to brave the precipice and leap unflinching into the jagged wound that doth gape beneath the land. There. My apologies. I trust I have not kept you waiting over long. Myrokos, I am both delighted and reassured to have you at my side once more. I would not waste your time with trivialities. Let us proceed directly to the discussion of that which we have learned, and that which we hope to learn anon. Initially, it was evidence of a new primal that led us to delve into the cavern beneath Castrum Occidens and to explore the subterranean scars left after the fall of Dalamud. As you will well recall, what we found was a vast, largely intact fragment of the fallen satellite, and within the depths of that structure we discovered not the new primal we had expected, but the broken form of Bahamut himself. Yet even this great revelation would soon be overshadowed by the appearance of my own dear grandfather. I have since shared our sundry findings with Rambrose, preeminent scholar of the Sons of St. Quinnock, and he in turn did kindly furnish me with his theory concerning the older primal's Allegan prison. 'Twould seem that Dalamud was constructed to gather unto itself the rays of the sun, and thence channel this radiant bounty unto the crystal tower. The ancients saw great potential in Bahamut's capacity to manipulate energies of otherwise unmanageable magnitude. 'Twas for this reason that they did bind him within the Red Moon to serve as its living core. Do you remember the sight that greeted us at the culmination of our journey? The colossal devices that surrounded and seemed to cradle the incomplete form of the elder primal. From the information provided to us by the Sons of St. Quinnock, we have learned that these contraptions were termed internment hulks, and that each bore the designation Ragnarok class. The purpose of these hulks is believed to be twofold. First, they are meant to act as binding coils, rendering Bahamut incapable of escape. And second, they are meant to feed him. Perversely, the selfsame energy which prevents him from moving also serves to sustain his corporeal manifestations. Bahamut is permitted neither to die nor truly live. He merely is allowed to be. For century upon century was the elder primal thus imprisoned, bound about in fetters so subtle in their working, and yet so adamant that though his cell be destroyed, Bahamut lieth yet at the mercy of his long-departed captors. It has long been held that the primals require the prayers of their faithful followers to exist, yet none alive worship Bahamut. Could it be, then, that the Allegans found a way to simulate prayer itself? It would seem the only logical explanation. I would postulate, therefore, that the regenerative mechanisms in question also supply something akin to the power of prayer. Consequently, if all the internment hulks were to be rendered inactive, Bahamut should dissolve into the ether. Upon the evidence of thy previous foray, we determined that the elder primal is sustained by 3 such binding coils. Thus did we commence to scour the realm, and found in the 12's Wood an as yet unexplored fragment of the lesser moon bearing a most familiar etheric signature. And after conducting a preliminary investigation, we believe we have discovered a point from which this North Shroud fragment and the second of the internment hulks can be entered. As I was a sword in the darkness, I would have you once more lead the charge. I will, of course, be there at your side. Once you have made your preparations, head to Falgort Float, and make yourself known to my assistant, Serpent Lieutenant Anal. The fallen fragment is not far from the settlement, and her position provides a convenient rendezvous point. I will break these Allegan fetters, for they bind my grandfather as surely as they bind Bahamut. Okay, so now to go to Falgort Float. Myrokos Tia, I've been expecting you. My name is Enel. I have been accorded the rank of lieutenant within the Order of the Twin Adder, that I may better assist Lady Alize with her endeavors here in the Twelveswood. Such authority has allowed me to act without interference from the local soldiery, and to conduct preliminary investigations of the Elder Springs fragment. From what we have seen of the exterior, the structure shares many common features with the one you explored in Lenosha, and likely plays host to a similar complement of guardians. But I fear words alone will do little to prepare you for what lies ahead. Pray seek out my comrade to the south and west. He is charged with observing all that occurs in the vicinity of the fragment, and will be well placed to show you the thing, if nothing less. What business brings you to this broken land? Unless you fancy being around a bloody pulp under the granite fists of a wandering golem, I suggest you bugger up. Oh, my apologies, sir. Lady Alize did send word of your impending arrival. But 'twould seem I've grown rather too accustomed to shooing away curious sellswords and reckless explorers. Behold, if you will, one of the fallen shards of the Red Moon Dalamud. Our initial survey uncovered no evidence of the Empire's presence, which, while fortunate in itself, meant that the approach to the fragment had yet to be cleared. After much effort, however, we succeeded in carving out a semblance of a path which should grant you access to the entrance, and that, I am afraid, is where our progress ended. The interior? Well, assuming that the architecture of this hulk resembles the first, the master controls you seek will be located at the bottommost layer, past all the ingenious and deadly defenses of which ancient Allegans seemed so indecently fond. If you would know more, then I am afraid there is nothing for it but to brave the depths of the fragment yourself. Lady Alize will soon be arriving at Falgort Float. Pray do not tarry on your way back to the lieutenant's post. I imagine our young mistress will be most eager to commence the expedition. The road ahead promises peril aplenty. I would humbly suggest that this is not the occasion to stint on preparation or provisions. May the 12 watch over you. Master Tia, I trust the private's expedition was worth the journey. Simply securing an approach to the fragment's entrance proved a monumental task. I dare not think what defeating its inner defenses will entail. If there is aught I might do to aid you... Lady Alice... Oh, my apologies, Master Alphino. Has there been a change of plan? Oriange informed me of the impending investigation. I merely came to exchange a few words with my fellow scion before he disappeared into the depths of the second coil. Myrokos, though I would strenuously deny it were she present, my sister's admiration and affection for our grandsire exceeds even my own. Upon the matter of his legacy, therefore, Alize is wont to go above and beyond the call of duty in our grandfather's absence. She has made the salvation of Eorzea her personal crusade. 'Twas that which prompted her to brave the perils of the first coil, yet the fact that she risks her life in this manner is not the greatest of my concerns. No, it is her subsequent fixation upon my grandfather's shade that worries me most. This quest to rid the world of Bahamut must not become a quest to save a man long dead. My sister must needs have a better reason to fight. A time will come when the fate of the realm rests upon her shoulders, and when it does, we must be strong in our resolve and certain of the stakes for which we risk all. There is a wide difference between fighting for the good of Eorzea and fighting for the love of a man who died for the good of Eorzea. Alize must choose her own path. She cannot rely on grandfather to choose it for her, for he is gone. I am glad that it is you with whom she makes this journey. If Alize is to discover the deeper purpose, then where better to find one than at the side of Eorzea's greatest champion? 'Twas there that I found mine after all. But 'tis past time I was gone. Fair fortune in your endeavors, Myrokos. Lieutenant Anale. Was it? I would appreciate you making no mention of my presence here to my sister. Lady Alize is due to arrive at any moment. I shall abide in confident expectation of your triumphant return. How strange. Why could we not see all this before? I suppose it is only to be expected that corrupted crystals should accompany a disturbance of this magnitude. After all, the fragment likely pierced the ground to a depth of many hundreds of yawns. The swirling ether leaking from the wound must warp the very air, creating a veil that hides these formations from view. Well, it is not as if we expected this to be a straightforward task. Let us tread carefully, shall we, Myrokos? We shall. 'Tis imperative that we win through to the depths of this structure and disable the mechanism that powers Bahamut's regeneration. Of course, if we should chance to encounter my grandfather upon the way, I shall not let him go again. Not when there is hope that he may yet be saved. But mayhap we should put such thoughts from our minds until we have successfully gained entrance to the place. That opening up ahead appears to be a suitable point of ingress. That armor. No, it couldn't be. Be on your guard, Myrokos. Though it defies all reason that he should live, I know of only one who wears such armor. He who the Empire raised as high as the Black Wolf himself, the legatus of the 7th Legion. I speak of the madman who brought the Meteor Project to fruition. We face the White Raven, Neil Van Darnus. harbinger of the 7th Umbral Era. Nail Van Darnus. That was the name of the fool who perished upon the eve of the promised age of glory. It should not be uttered within these hallowed halls. Out of love for his loyal servant, the one true deity named me Nail Deus Darnus. The one true deity. Bahamut. He speaks of Bahamut. O Lord Bahamut, thy name is as sweet as water to parched lips. How my heart swells at thy sacred touch. This blessed sanctum is the domain of my God and his beloved children. Seek to defile its glory, and you will answer to me. How is this possible? From what Alphino has told me, Neil was slain on the eve of the calamity. Whatever the truth of the matter, we must be on our guard. There can be no reasoning with the worshippers of a primal. I am reminded of the passages beneath Castrum Occidens. We must have traveled quite some distance below the surface. More of the same tunnels. 12 be good. Surely they cannot continue all the way down from the upper floors. 'Tis difficult to see inside, but I have a terrible feeling those corridors house more of the dreadful guardians you have already faced. It is said that the Allegans excelled in the creation of chimerical beasts, and that the Red Dalamud teemed with 1,000 fantastical monstrosities, all to prevent the enemies of the Empire from releasing the Elder Primal. I wonder, the creatures that prowl these halls, could they be the beloved children of which Neil spoke? Well, this is yet another mystery to ponder upon our return. Shall we continue onwards? Yeah. That surely cannot be Dalamud. Where are we? The final resting place of Neil Van Darnus. This is a grave for the undeserving. And for the crime of trespassing upon my god's sanctuary, this place shall serve as your grave too. No. In the hour of his failure, Neil Van Darnus felt the currents of ether begin to bear away his essence. But before oblivion could claim the last of him, a divine will reached out, and I was born. Then did the words of my God resound in my ears. Bring unto me mine enemies crushing defeat, that they might know despair without end, and claim thee thus the victory which thou wert once denied. Twould seem that little remained of Neil's essence when Bahamut plucked him from the brink of oblivion, and the result was this strange simulacrum. Nevertheless, her aura bespeaks great power. She channels the rage of the Elder Primal himself. Lord Bahamut, thy wish is my command. None shall escape thine unquenchable fury. Come, ye dull, unthinking beasts, bare your teeth. They will avail you not in the calamity to come. Poor creature. Would that you had never been born. You had surrendered your physical form and collapsed into ether, but Bahamut denied you death, and imprisoned what little was left of you in an ethereal shell resembling what, I wonder? Images from your memory, perhaps? But that shell is now broken, and your primal deity seems disinclined to sustain your essence. My primal deity? I kneel to no icon. What need have I to beg the favor of such filth? I am Neil Van Darnus, legatus of the 7th Legion. No, a moment. My thoughts are clouded, and this body is not mine own. Could it be that you spoke truth? Was I ensorcelled by the Lesser Moon's ancient prisoner? That will not happen again. You speak as if Bahamut no longer controlled you, but that's impossible. Once a primal ensnares a mind, it cannot be freed. Unless Bahamut simply relinquished his claim. What need has he of a broken spirit bound for the ethereal realm? Oh, that I should fall prey to the very influence I sought to purge from the land. The irony is galling. But do not assume that all my actions were chosen for me. It was my will that the Meteor Project be resurrected. Mine and none other. Yet it seems that my grand designs were destined to fail. Even the ungentle release of death was denied me. Neil, please, you must tell us more of the calamity. I must know the truth of what has befallen the world, and what has become of my grandfather, Archon Louisoix. You are Louisoix's grandchild. Ah, the fates are generous with their cruelty. Continue on, if you would have your answers. They await you at the terminus of your path. But know that this path leads only to despair. The light of truth was ever harsh and unforgiving. Why do you say this? Grandfather will be freed once we put a stop to Bahamut's restoration, will he not? What are you not telling us? Steel yourself, child. Only unbending resolve and merciless strength can conquer what lies ahead. The weak can do naught but weep under the pall of their own misery, as did the frail child I once was. Silence, chattering raven. Your wretched wings are broken, and you shall soar no more. My crimson moon, your brilliance sears mine eyes. I recognize that voice, Myrokos, but never did he say such words. Come, let us finish what we came to do. All will be put aright when the final hulk lies dormant. Grandfather will be himself again. I am sure of it. Bahamut regenerates more swiftly than I had anticipated. Let us hope that disabling this coil will serve to slow the process. The display seems different, but the controls appear to mimic the mechanism we found in the Lenosian Hulk. It shouldn't pose a problem. Myrokos, forgive me. The moment I beheld Neil's transformation, hope wilted in my heart. I did not believe you could stand against the manifestation of Bahamut's power. For all your fabled strength and skill, I felt certain that I was going to lose you, just as I lost my grandfather. Even he, a man for whom naught seemed impossible, was humbled before Bahamut's might. And yet, look how far we have come. 'Tis incredible the feats of which we are capable of, our boundless potential. 'Twas this capacity for greatness, I believe, that Grandfather so dearly wished to protect. With all that has occurred, I have come to understand that much at least. "'Tis done. We shall make our way back to the surface and gather our thoughts. We have seen much that will benefit from Urianger's learned perspective. Grandfather, it is you. Then why? Abandon this quest, Alize. I will not countenance further sabotage of the COILS. Sabotage? But we must disable the COILS if we are to prevent Bahamut's revival. Your defiance seals your fate. No, you are not who I thought you were. My grandfather would never. Foolish girl. How could the White Raven allow herself to be bested by such sniveling opponents? Listen well. We all exist at the pleasure of one divine will, and the word of Lord Bahamut is absolute. Scurry back to your holes, vermin. You have been granted this one reprieve, But should you be so foolish as to crawl into my lord's domain again, I will crush the life from you myself. That light in grandfather's eyes. He has suffered the same fate as Neil. My grandfather is no more. That was naught but a phantom that profanes his noble memory. This mockery must be expunged. I will not rest until I free grandfather's soul from Bahamut's tyranny. Do you hear me, Bahamut? Your time is at an end. Eorzea and my family will be avenged. Alizé's resolve. Alizé is keen to seek Urianger's learned opinion on the disturbing events which unfolded during your expedition into the second coil. Truly it is wonderful to escape that stifling air and return to northern Thanalan again, it would appear. I must thank you, Myrokos. Were it not for your bravery, I strongly doubt that I would be standing here now. But you need not tarry on my account. The danger has passed. Pray go on ahead and apprise Urianger of all that has occurred. I will join you anon. My thoughts are yet unruly, and I would rest here a while. The triumphant hero doth return. Thine eyes speak of the dread task's completion. The second coil now lieth dormant. Yet I sense the tidings thou bearest are not altogether glad. I pray tell me, what ill hath cast the shadow which falleth now across thy brow? An old foe and an old friend. So 'twas but the ethereal shadow of Master Louisoix that Alizé beheld, an unnatural conjuration in thrall to the elder primal. That the fiend should deign to choose him of all men, even in full knowledge of the shade's true nature. I would be hard-pressed to weather such a confrontation. Yet what agonies must the young mistress have endured? Such torment did she ne'er deserve. Mayhap 'twere better if the Lady Alisaie did absent herself from future forays into the coils. I have come too far to surrender to grief, Urianger. My lady, I am resolved to defeat these fiends, and naught shall sway me from my path. Now let us peer once more deeply into the well of our discoveries. As you wish, my lady. By your leave, I would speak first of the Coil's late guardian, Neil Van Darnus. Van Darnus was the legatus of the Garlean Empire, who strove to bring about Eorzea's final destruction, only to fall even as the sixth sun did set. If thou hast heard the tales of the White Raven, then it is he of whom they speak. Aye, he, I say, for Neil was for a certainty no maid. The noble house of Van Darnus, as we discovered all too late, had long safeguarded the wisdom of ancient Allag. 'Twas thus that the legatus came to learn the true nature of Dalamud and to seek to employ the Red Moon as a weapon against Eorzea. But the Crystal Tower, and the mechanisms required to command the satellite, yet lay hidden beneath the ground, compelling Neil to construct a far less subtle mechanism, and in his first faltering attempts to communicate with Dalamud, he did likely rouse the satellite's slumbering prisoner. Thenceforth did the White Raven's soul belong to Bahamut. He was fortunate indeed to acquire so powerful a thrall by chance. 'Tis little wonder he was so loath to part with him. Why let a simple thing like death deprive one of so powerful a pawn? Though we may accuse him of bungling Van Darnus's resurrection, I dare say Bahamut was as content to have a handmaiden and maiden as a manservant. I only hope that the two thralls we encountered were the extent of his flock. Yet I cannot help but dwell on Neil's words, those beloved children of whom he spoke. I assume at first that he referred to the moon's beastly guardians, but should Bahamut have enslaved other mortals, we must needs remove this source of worship. Otherwise, our efforts to disable the coils shall be for naught. Forgive me mine indelicacy, my lady. Thou art wise indeed to speak of expunging the Primal's thralls, but canst thou truly pursue a course which would cost thee thine own grandsire? My heart and mind are as one on this matter. Grandfather's salvation can be won but by a single method, the destruction of Bahamut, and aught that might serve to sustain him. Myrokos, while Urianger and I endeavor to ascertain the existence of any further thralls, I suggest you grant yourself a moment's respite. Rest assured that I will contact you the moment I have need of your inimitable talents. That we have achieved so much I owe to you. I fear, however, that our trials have barely begun. Though time has dulled the pain of thy passing, I find I am wounded afresh. Master Louisoix, what good shall come of this unending search for knowledge and truth? Long have I believed the pursuit of such treasures to be the duty of every true Charlan. Yet when each new revelation serveth only to heap heap further anguish upon those whom we would fain protect? Must we truly reach for more? Good question. So, you have found your resolve, dear sister. Will you find use for the secret? For the key that only you and I hold? Given our familial propensity for curiosity, you would do well to remember that keys may serve to seal doors, as well as unlock them, and Bahamut is a most unwelcome guest, to whom the door should never have been opened. I need to get up and take a stretch. I'll be back in a moment. And with that, I'm back. So let us continue. No, wrong one. Okay, here it is. Fragments of Truth. Urianger would speak with you regarding your mission to prevent Bahamut's return. Man is wont to cast light wheresoever secrets lie hid in darkness, though that which he illuminateth seldom bringeth him joy, so it is with such unhappy truths as Bahamut's immense shadow doth conceal. Yet ever onward forgeth Mistress Alize, undeterred by the burden of knowledge that weigheth heavy on her heart. 'Tis a perilous path she has chosen, and a painful one. I prithee, Myrokos, remain by her side as her valiant blade, that she might see her quest to its conclusion. Myrokos, it is well that you are here. My lady, how might I serve you this day? I have met with some difficulty in my mission, Urianger, and I should be grateful for your counsel. As you know, Bahamut's physical form is regenerating beneath the carton of flats, even as we speak. If we are to prevent his return, we must needs disable the 2 remaining internment hulks that sustain him. Every moment our mission is delayed, the realm is pushed closer to the brink of destruction. Alas, though I have determined the location of the fragments of Dalamud leading to the hulks, I have been unable to find a way to enter them. And gaining admittance is but the first step in our perilous undertaking. When last thou descended into Bahamut's subterranean fastness, thou didst discover, didst thou not, that the dread primal had bound the shade of Neil Van Darnus unto his will? And though thou didst consign the fallen Legatus to blessed oblivion, thou mayest recall that the piteous wretch was not alone. Doubt not, but that Bahamut's other thralls shall seek to hinder thy passage. You can say his name, Urianger. I have not forgotten that my grandfather is waiting for us. My lady, I would remind you, as I must oft remind myself, that the man whom we both loved and revered is no more. What remaineth is but a shade which defileth his memory. The vile verbiage that spelleth from his lips is must not be heeded, for it cometh not from your grandsire, but from Bahamut himself. You need not worry, Urianger. Come what may, I will not stray from the course. I will not let grandfather's sacrifice be in vain. But mere words will not take us whither we must go. As I said, I have been unable to find a way to enter the fragments of Dalamud. My lady, might I suggest you visit the fragments again in Myrokos' company? Full oft hath the warrior of light set events in motion by virtue of his presence alone. 'Tis possible that he may do so again. I, the while, shall search for answers of mine own. By our efforts combined, full sure am I that the path shall be revealed to us ere long. Were it anyone else, I should question the wisdom of such advice, yet I cannot deny that what you say about Myrokos is true. Very well, I shall do as you suggest. Assuming you have no objections, of course. Good. Now, we seek entry to the two fragments of Dalamud. One lies at the Burning Wall in eastern Thanalan, and the other at the Singing Shards in Mordana. I left an assistant at each location with instructions to continue searching for a means of ingress. It is not impossible that they could since have found something useful to us. Let us begin by visiting the man at the Burning Wall, Dex, I think it was. I see. Are you not Master Tia, my lady's most faithful companion? Sinus, sir, at your service. And may I say what an honor it is to meet you. How goes the survey, Dex? Ahem, my lady. It shames me to say that I have found no viable path to the fragment. Though it stands there before our very eyes, the way thither has thus far proven impassable. When the fragment fell and pierced the land, it caused a prodigious amount of ether to spew forth. 'Twas this that gave rise to the land's twisted lay, which seems destined to thwart our efforts. Even were an opening to exist, I fear that we would struggle to reach it. We cannot give up. Keep trying. So near, yet so far. Well, it avails us not to stand here and stare at the thing. Let us away to Mordona and try the other fragment. Perhaps Sinus has fared better. Upon that note, my lady, there is something I must tell you. I am sorry to report that I lost contact with my brother just over a bell ago. As you know, the singing shards are home to many foul creatures, ogres among them. While I do not wish to cause you undue alarm, I fear something unspeakable may have happened to Dex. What? Why didn't you give me strength? You must hurry to my assistant's aid, Myrokos. Yeah, nearly went into Kurthus there. Whoops. And yeah, there it is. Thank you, adventurer. For a moment there I feared that my bones were to be ground up and used to bake bread. I am relieved to see that you are unharmed. It was wrong of me to press such a dangerous task upon you. My lady, Your worries are wasted on me. 'Twas nothing at all, I assure you. Ahem. If it please you, I shall report my findings. As you can see, the tip of the fragment is exposed, the rest is encased in rock and crystal, rendering it impossible to enter the structure. We might try excavating the area around the fragment, but that is to take time, and there is really no telling how deep we may need to dig before we find a suitable point of ingress. As such, I am forced to conclude that gaining entry to this fragment is unrealistic. Forgive me, my lady. Confound it. We are losing precious time. What are we to do now? 'Tis I, Urianger. Glad tidings I have for thee and my lady. For a blessing, a way hath been found by which thou mayest enter the remaining fragments of Dalamud. Pray escort Mistress Alize to the cerulean processing plant in northern Thanalan. There all shall be made clear. Urianger has found a way? Then we must go to him at once. Mine apologies for summoning you thus from afar, my lady, but 'tis here that your journey may finally begin. I did wonder. To my knowledge, there are no fragments in northern Thanalan. Nor are you mistaken, my lady, yet a pathway doth exist, one which you yourself have made use of in the past. At the conclusion of your several forays into the binding coil, 'twas at the crystal formation which lieth to the north of this place that you did emerge, was it not? Yes, an ethereal storm bore us back to the surface. That much I had surmised. Are you suggesting that we can use it to return underground? And even if that were possible, would it not simply bear us back to those places which we have already explored? It need not, my lady. Pray allow me to explain. Upon the evidence of your experience, it seemeth plain that two internment hulks may share the selfsame ethereal egress. From this, we may infer that others may be connected in likewise. Thus did we labor long to verify the existence of further tributaries to the selfsame stream, in which task we were at length successful. 'Twas then but a matter of arriving at a solution to the problem of traveling to an unattuned destination. That one might reach what we may call the headwater, we propose to employ a modified etherite which serveth to amplify such ripples as do originate from said source. By focusing one's essence upon these ripples, it should be possible to make the journey. Yet be fairly warned, my lady, As with all untried modes of ethereal travel, this method entaileth considerable danger. Merely to attempt the voyage could cost you your life. That is a risk I'm willing to take. You are brilliant, Oriange. But I am curious. Did you have assistance in forming this plan? I could not help but notice your repeating use of the word we. Unless you have taken to using the majestic plural in our absence? Nay, my lady. As you have correctly surmised, I was not alone in this endeavor. Meaning there are others who are aware of our mission. Well, it cannot be helped now. Preventing Bahamut's return is what matters. If some secrecy must be sacrificed to achieve our goal, then so be it. So that must be the modified aetherite. But what are the immortal flames doing here? I'm a flame, for one. Those men may be sworn to the flames of Ul'dah, but they are first and foremost faithful retainers of House Leveilleur. Alphino, so it was you who was helping Oriange. Who else could it have been, dear sister? Lest you worry, I have no intention of making the details of your venture public. Like you, I would prefer to avoid causing panic. But given that which is at stake, namely the survival of the realm, one must be willing to accept help when it is offered. Would you not agree? At the very least, do not cross with Oriange. 'Twas at my behest that he be kept silent. We will speak later. Pray forgive me, my lady, but knowing full well your intent, I judged it meet that Master Alphino be informed. Though your grandsire hath become Bahamut's thrall, his noble blood courseth yet through both your veins, and if he must needs be struck down... Do you hear that, Alphino? I mean to strike down grandfather, and when I have done so I shall banish Bahamut to the ether. Nothing you say will sway me from my course. I will protect Eorzea, and I will uphold grandfather's legacy. Grandfather's legacy? So you still do not know what you yourself desire. Your actions are still driven by borrowed resolve. Borrowed resolve? What does that have to do with anything? Protecting Eorzea was grandfather's goal, and we made it ours. Both of us. That is why we came here, unless you have forgotten. Gods forbid I should ever forget, Alize, but you misunderstand. I do not question your resolve, only whence it came. If it were your own, you would be able to tell me precisely why you desire so fervently to protect Eorzea. Yet you cannot, for it is not your resolve, but grandfather's. You may struggle to see the difference, but borrowed resolve shall never be as strong as that which springs from within. But let us speak of this another time. For now, preventing Bahamut's return is all that matters. To be plain, I have no objection to striking down whatever is left of Grandfather. Know, however, that I will be accompanying you this time. As a son of House Leveilleur, I would be present for his final moments. Very well. You may join us on one condition. I make the decisions. If it please, my lady, my name is, Erkenrand. Our preparations are just about complete. When you are ready to embark on your mission, just give me the word. I'll be waiting for you at the cerulean processing plant. Pay no heed to my brother. You can rely on me. We have come far together, you and I, and together we shall see our journey to its end. I have been waiting for you, Master Tia. I am pleased to say that the Aetherites are primed and ready. As you know, the remaining internment hulks are connected to the fragments in Eastern Thanalan and Mardana. It's to the former that we will be sending you first. Now you'll be starting inside the hulk, meaning you won't have to cover so much ground. The drawback being that you'll be fighting for your life from the moment you get there. Best be prepared for anything for my lady's sake, if not your own. And that's about all I can tell you. When your preparations are in order, just give me the word and I'll send you on your way. I may even throw in a prayer for your speedy return, just to be on the safe side. So this is how it looks on the inside. This internment hulk still functions. The teleportation was successful. We are come to the right place. There is no telling how much further Bahamut has regenerated since we last beheld him. Let us make haste to the main bridge and deactivate the coil. There were receptacles similar to these in the previous hulks. Those held chimerical beasts, but only the Allagans know what other abominations may be sleeping within. They may well be part of Dalamud's internal defenses. We must stay on our guard at all times. by the 12 dragons, and so many. We were aware that the Allagans possessed the means to control the creatures, but to imprison them thus is barbaric. I would not wish such a fate upon my worst enemy. 'Tis plain that no love was lost between the Allagans and the dragons, but was it truly necessary to keep so great a number here? Dalamud did not want for defenses, but this we have experienced firsthand. Such guardians as the Allagans created, both living and unliving, were surely no less capable of repelling intruders than these poor creatures. Tell me something, Alize. Have you not managed to determine by whose will Bahamut exists? No, I have not. At first I assumed that Bahamut had no people of his own, that the Allagans had perhaps discovered a way to simulate prayer itself. However, Nail's words gave me cause to reconsider, specifically the Shade's mention of Bahamut's beloved children. From what I inferred, that the primal is given form by the will of worshippers whom we have yet to... Oh. God, strike me down for a blind fool. Bahamut's beloved children, right there before my very eyes. How could I be so stupid? Who else but the dragons of Eld would summon Bahamut? Who else but they could sustain him? And to think I wondered why the Allagans kept them imprisoned here. Even should the flame of Bahamut's life go out, his faithful children would summon him back. For this reason, the Allagan Empire kept an army of dragons here in a perpetual state of duress, that they might sustain the primal's existence. Truly, the Allagans' ingenuity knows no bounds, and neither did their cruelty. Small wonder that Bahamut was so enraged. Let no one deny that it was a man who sowed the seeds of the calamity. Will you now turn your hatred towards your own kind, dear sister? Do not patronize me, Alphino. I merely acknowledge our guilt. Lest you be in any doubt, I have no intention of allowing Bahamut to lay the world to waste, regardless of the atrocities the Allagans committed against his kind. We have no choice but to eliminate all who worship him, be they his children or his thralls. It seems reasonable to assume that the system responsible for the primal's regeneration is also responsible for sustaining the captive dragons. If we disable it, all shall perish. Let us press on. Wait, this looks like a model of Dalamud. Yes. For millennia, Bahamut must have gazed at this unchanging view. Trapped inside a prison that was scarcely large enough to contain him, unable to move, denied the release of death, how his hatred for man must have burned. And that hatred found an ideal vessel in Neil Van Darnus. In many ways, Bahamut is to be pitied, not loathed. But knowing the true extent of his fury, I am more convinced than ever of the necessity of our endeavor. Besides, his is not the only soul that cries out for vengeance.
Gods, he is almost whole again.
His size is staggering. I can scarce imagine how Grandfather stood against such a monstrosity.
This cannot be allowed to proceed any further. Let us disable the coil and move on. Grandfather? No, that man is dead. I will not dishonor my beloved grandsire's memory by calling you such. You are but his twisted shape, the thrall of a mad primal.
You were foolish to disregard my warning, child. Are you so convinced of your own righteousness?
'Tis the rightness of our path that led us to return. Eorzea will never be safe whilst Bahamut remains to threaten all we hold dear. What of the hero who gave his life in defense of the realm? Do you truly dispute the justice of our cause?
My poor, ignorant grandchildren. Your world is shaped by naught but recent conflict. Listen, and I will speak to you of justice. 'Twas in the twilight of the third astral era. The southern land of Mericidia suffered invasion at the hands of the Allagan Empire. With no atrocity too depraved for their purpose, the forces of Alec were unstoppable in their advance. Desperate for salvation, the dragons prayed to one of their first brood, to their ancestor Bahamut. Infused by the power of their fervent supplications, Bahamut arose from the abyss of death and took wing as the Mericidians' newborn god. Yet this great miracle would only serve to further the maniacal designs of the dragon's imperial conquerors. The cruel fetters which bind my lord stand testament to the Allagan's boundless greed and hubris. I once summoned the 12 in an attempt to forestall the advent of the 7th Umbral Era. What then did the dragons of Myrokos do that I did not? Wherefore are they accursed, and I exalted? 'Tis man's overweening belief in his own primacy that blinds him to the commonness of his condition and the truth of his own tyranny. As long as man is suffered to remain, the dragons shall never be at peace. Only when the plague of people has been expunged shall the children of Lord Bahamut be free. Then shall the world know true justice.
Stop it! Grandfather would never say such things. His belief that people were worth saving never faltered. He had faith in their strength, that they could stand together and push back against the darkness seeking to shape them.
A false hope. 'Tis folly to place one's faith in so flawed a race. Stand together? Huh. They would first need to agree on which direction to face. If history teaches us anything, it is that man cannot find common ground between his own 2 feet. Even you, twins whose veins run with the same blood, struggle to fathom each other's reasoning. You hide your differing agendas behind the convenient banner of Eorzea's salvation. Given your obvious self-interest, can you truly claim no kinship with the Oligarch? And though I hope they might bring you closer, 'twould seem that the twin grimoires I bestowed upon you were a wasted gesture.
There may well be truth in your judgment of Alize and me, but such a one-sided tirade bemoaning the evils of man rings false, coming from the lips of Archon Louisoix. Tell me, do you champion the cause of dragons because Bahamut compels you as his thrall? Or is it because you yourself have transcended the limits of man's existence?
Ah, so the possibility did not escape your notice. What I prayed for, and what I have become. These are the keys that unlock the truth behind Eorzea's rebirth. If you would have them, then you must needs take them by force. Come, rend this divine form asunder and claim your answers.
Become a primal?
It is difficult, I know, but you must accept it. That entity is no phantom or imposter. It is our beloved grandsire.
Please, for his sake and for ours, you must defeat our grandfather. Grandfather is truly gone this time. But better it end this way than the alternative.
I am yet here, Alice, my dear, sweet granddaughter.
Grandfather?
I must thank you, warrior of light. Without your valor, I might never have broken free of Bahamut's control. These last few moments are mine, to live as the man I once was.
This is all that I wanted. Yet, now that it is happening, I find myself struggling to believe it. Is it really you?
Grandfather, pray forgive me my insolence. It was not my intent to demean you.
Forgive you? I am proud of you, child. You were wise enough to deduce the manner of creature I had become. Alphino, Alize, if any here should beg forgiveness, it is I.
Grandfather, I must ask, will you not tell us what befell during the calamity?
Yes, of course. You have come far to hear the truth. Let us then begin the tale at the Battle of Cartano, where clashed the forces of the Garlean Empire and the Eorzean Alliance. 'Twas there in the sky above the surging armies that the elder primal Bahamut broke free of the Red Moon Dalamut. In an effort to contain this avatar of destruction, I called upon the 12 to aid me in the creation of a prison of ether. But Bahamut would not be caged by such feeble bars. Too vast was his might, too fierce his rage. Little choice remained to me. I used the last of my strength to entrust our hope unto the future, and prepared to meet my end. As you have no doubt surmised, I did not perish. When the cage built from the essences of the 12 was destroyed, the sky was filled with a colossal cloud of ether. This drifting energy responded to the prayers of those fighting below, and to my own desperate wish that the dying realm be saved by infusing me with the power of a primal. I became the immortal phoenix, ancient symbol of rebirth. Rising into the sky, I struck Bahamut with all my newfound strength. The blow shattered his earthly form, and a shower of ether rained down upon the land. Thus began the rejuvenation of Eorzea. Believing the deed done, I relinquished my hold on that staggering energy, desirous that it should be returned to the realm without delay. But I had not reckoned on Bahamut's tenacious will. Even as he teetered upon the cusp of oblivion, the dragon reached out to claim me. Alas, within my fast fading form, enough remained of the Phoenix's energy to offer Bahamut a hold, and he dragged me along in his wake.
And thus began your existence as the Elder Primal's thrall.
I cannot help but wonder at his will to survive. Though he was all but obliterated, Bahamut found a way to seize the power you surrendered. That would explain why part of his physical form survived to be entombed underground.
It would also explain why Eorzea was so terribly warped. Even as the land sought to restore itself, the returning flow of ether was cut off.
Ah, very good. When his grip on existence was once again secured, Bahamut did not cease his feast until he had consumed every last mote of ether that yet floated in the air.
And still he was not fully restored.
You must remember that by this time, much of the freed ether had already returned to the land. That which remained was not sufficient to reconstruct so massive a form in its entirety. But there did not need to be, not for a being sustained by the marvels of Allagan technology. As long as some piece of Bahamut persists, the COILS will seek it out and continue their regenerative task. The fragments of Dalamud appear motionless from the surface, but deep beneath the ground they had been searching, tunneling through rock and soil towards their escaped prisoner. And, as you have observed for yourselves, they found his heart. Warrior of Light, heed me. You must put a stop to Bahamut's regeneration. Whether it be for man or for dragonkind, the question of justice is irrelevant. The Elder Primal will leave naught but a smoldering wasteland for both his children and ours. I beg you to defend Eorzea and guide its people to the future they yet struggle to find. This portal will take you to the final internment hulk. 'Tis time for the tale of Bahamut and his part in the calamity to come to an end. Alvino, Alize, pray, come closer. Your hopes and dreams must no longer be an extension of mine. You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm, your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
Of course, Grandfather. I have already made it my mission to see this newborn Eorzea survive and flourish.
Alize, while I was yet enthralled to Bahamut, you spoke of my faith in man's strength. Know that your words reached me, imprisoned though my soul still was. So forceful was your conviction. I wonder if that belief has not become your own. Perhaps, after all your anger and sorrow was spent, you found something greater within you. See this fight to its culmination. 'Tis also your strength in which I have faith.
Thank you for everything. Pray, take your rest, Grandfather. You deserve it.
There are records of an art that allowed one to summon the power of a primal from the essence of its demise. And though I am no true primal, all that I have left, I give to you. Alvino, Alize, my darling grandchildren. May light's blessings ever keep and protect you.
Come, Warrior of Light. Our task remains undone. Was a long and arduous road, but at last we reach its end. Farewell, Bahamut. I banish you back to the ether. yet whole. I did not think him capable.
Alize! Alize!
I had thought it finally over. Will not survive another blast. No. Is this how I honor my promise to Grandfather?
You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm. Your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
I will, Grandfather. In fact, I believe I already have. That reason has been with me all along, guiding me. Eorzea's blade of light, shearing through endless shrouds of darkness. I have been shown the miraculous feats of which we are all capable, of which I am capable. Bahamut, you have wreaked enough havoc. I will not let your wrathful fires consume all that we know and love.
How long I have waited to hear you say that! You have found your resolve at last! Let me join my strength to yours. In this place, in this moment, our purpose has become one! Future of Eorzea!
This last task is yours, Warrior of Light. You must destroy Bahamut's crystal core.
judgment. The soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter. Look to those who walk before, to lead those who walk after. Shining is the land's light of justice. Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free. Believe the lamb's alive. So believe. To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant. All of my children, to whom death passed is judgment. The soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter. Look to those who walked before, to lead those who walk after. Shining is the land's light of justice. Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free. Believe the lamb's alive. So believe. To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant. All of my children, to
You did it! But one task remains. With this last coil disabled, there shall be naught left to bind Bahamut to this world. His beloved children will finally know peace. "'Tis done. He is truly gone." You knew, didn't you? You knew what Grandfather had become.
I was not certain, but from all I had gleaned, it seemed a distinct possibility. The scene people describe of the Battle of Cartano was one of unimaginable devastation, and 'tis through the combined prayers of the desperate and an abundant source of ether that primals are born. I merely put two and two together.
And you consider that a sufficient explanation? Well, however you stumbled across your theory, 'twas this revelation that made you wary of my attachment to Grandfather. You feared that in my obsession I would fall under his primal sway. Is that why you decided to join us? To pull me back should I show signs of wavering?
Pray forgive me, sister. I wished only to protect you. Yet I see now that I needn't have doubted the strength of your conviction. May I ask you a question? What do you now intend to do with the truth you have uncovered?
Which particular truth was that, brother? The fact that desperate prayer gave rise to the primal phoenix? That this new god was responsible for setting Eorzea on the path to rebirth? Should such a tale become common knowledge, people would soon offer up their prayers in earnest. They would beseech Phoenix to complete the healing that was begun.
Yet as you and I know all too well, the very act of calling forth this savior would do more harm to the land than good. We cannot encourage such worship for this very reason. Were Grandfather forced to return as an ether-draining primal, it would undo all that he had worked to protect. Your abiding love for him was the key that unlocked the truth of the calamity. But keys may also serve to seal doors that were best left unopened. Let your love now guide your actions, and lock away deep inside the fate of both Grandfather and Bahamut.
Fear not, Alphino. I understand what must be done. The realm need not know the truth for it to be saved. That the Elder Primal is banished, to return no more. That is enough. Let us make our way back to the surface. Poor Oriange must be beside himself with worry.
In spite of your presence, I must confess that there were moments when I feared the worst. But in the end, you plucked us from the flames and bore us safe into victory, just as you always have. As for Alize, I have never been more proud to call her my sister. Alize's path. Alize would bring the tale of the Seventh Umbral calamity to a close. And here we begin again. After that descent into darkness, the desolation of northern Thanalan seems paradisal. As promised, I shan't reveal the truth of the calamity to a single soul. However, the nations of Eorzea will require certain assurances that the threat of a new primal is gone. Kept in the dark over long, 'tis only a matter of time before they seek answers of their own accord. Let us recommend that the fragments of Dalamud are sealed off, that the truth may rest undisturbed. But first, we must go and report to Urianger. It would not do to keep him in suspense. I dare say we shall find him pacing up and down at the cerulean processing plant. Ah, the warrior of light returneth undimmed from the depths of darkness. By thy triumphant bearing, I take it thou hast succeeded in thy mission, and yet thou art alone. Mistake me not, dear friend, full glad am I of thy safe return. But where, pray, are Master Alphino and Mistress Alize? Here, my friend, forgive us our lateness. We took the scenic route. Bahamut is no more. The realm is safe. By the heavens, look at you. What horrors your young eyes must have seen. What suffering your young bodies must have borne. Pray tell me, where are you hurt? Your wounds must be cleansed and dressed at once. Your wounds. I shall make for you a poultice which draweth out. Be at ease, my friend. We are hale and whole, I assure you. We took a few tumbles, but the worst of our hurts are healed. I believe we have grandfather to thank for that. Master Louis Soir, then you met with him once more. But wherefore should Bahamut's thrall seek to ease your suffering? I promise to reveal all to you in due course, dear friend, but first there is a matter which requires our immediate attention. Now that Bahamut is defeated, we deem it best to bar entry to all of the fragments of Dalamud. To this end, we will convince the nation leaders that the danger is past and invite their cooperation in ensuring that the fragments of Dalamud are never again disturbed. Come, let us depart and seek an audience with them forthwith. A moment, sister. You need not burden yourself with this task. Urianger and I will more than suffice. Might you not take this opportunity to rest? The gods know you have earned it. But I am fine, brother. Besides, you have been through as much as I have. Oh, I see now. You would play your game of diplomacy and wish me out of the way. No, Not could be further from the truth, they say. My lady, 'tis mine earnest belief that your brother hath your best interests at heart. You have more than done your part, and he desireth but to relieve you of a burden he might easily bear alone. I have some experience treating with dignitaries, you must allow, and as you never fail to remind me of my fondness for diplomacy, I feel it only right that I remind you of your aversion to it. Then it is settled. Urianger, pray make arrangements for a chocobo carriage. The ride should give us ample time to prepare our story. Alphino. Though our paths are different, we share the same goal, do we not? But of course, dear sister, that which we have just achieved together stands as a testament to that fact. Whatever path we choose to take, our hearts shall ever lead us to the same end. Of that I am certain. Thank you. There is a place that I would visit. Might I ask that you accompany me? But first I do believe a change of garments is in order. It won't take a moment. The landscape is the same. Of course, there is no reason that it would be otherwise. Though it would be poetic if the fragments, for the fragments to magically disappear, I am well aware that they shall remain long after you and I are gone. The world may change irrevocably, but life shall ever go on. Let us take a closer look, shall we? I have no doubt that Alphino will do an admirable job at concealing the truth of the calamity, and such truths as were revealed in those dark depths will never see the light of day. I myself agreed that it must be so. But the thought that the people of Eorzea shall forever remain ignorant of their savior, of your deeds, the injustice of it is almost too much for me to bear. Yeah, don't worry about it. How typical of you, Myrokos. Ever the hero. Even so, I cannot deny that I feel better for your reassurance. But I want you to know that I will never forget. You are the one who freed Grandfather's soul and saved Eorzea from Bahamut's wrath. And though these great deeds will never be remembered in song, their consequences will be felt forevermore by every soul who walks this realm, who calls this realm home. Yes, this spot will do. For Grandfather, Nail, and the dragons of Mericidia, for all those who were taken by the calamity. At long last, our struggle with Bahamut is over. The realm, given new life through the prayers and sacrifices of countless souls, may look to a brighter tomorrow. When the dust of our adventure has settled, I shall embark on a journey. I mean to find my own reason to fight for Eorzea, and when I do, I will fight with all my being. You have done so much for me, Myrokos. One day, I hope to be able to repay you in kind. I have no doubt that you will continue to help those in need, and grow ever stronger in doing so. I shall endeavor to do the same, and if the 12 are kind, I hope one day to become Eorzea's sword in the darkness, as you are. Come what may, you may rest assured that I will not be outdone by Alphino. When next we meet, I promise that I will not disappoint you. Till that day, fare you well, my friend, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, you're welcome. the story of the coils of Bahamut comes to an end. If at any point you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're, the link to my Twitch will be in the description. Please give a follow if you're so inclined so you can be informed when I go live. And thank you to Avier and Chandris for their assistance in clearing, helping me clear coils. With that, I think I will bring this stream to a close, as it's been over 3.5 hours. And see you anon for more progression of Post-ARR. See you anon, friends.